Careful. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, if you've got this part of the video, you've got the live unedited edition Home Gadget Geeks Thursday night. It's May 15th, 2025 in the Central Time Zone anyways. I guess it's 7 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. Mark, thanks for saying yes to 7. I think that's where we're headed here in the future. That work better for you? Tell me again, what time zone are you in?
Eastern. So it's 8 o'clock for me.
Okay, great. So it doesn't mean you have to stay up so late to get it done. If you got this part of the show any other time than that, you got the recorded version. You're on a recorded page right now on YouTube. I would think maybe you could be on theaverageguy.tv, but subscribe there if you want to catch the live stuff or get notifications of when we go live. If you're listening live, and there's a few of you, just a couple out there. I saw Brian check in earlier. Mark, it's going to take me a while. We've been talking about moving from 8 p.m. Central to 7 p.m. Central. It's going to take me a while. I've been doing that for 1,000 years. So I think it's going to take a while to get everybody to kind of switch over. Joe's showing up, Brian's showing up. It's going to take me a little while.
I think it'd take the audience a little while too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been getting a lot of feedback over the years. Like, why do you go so late? And back in the day, we've been doing this for 14 years. Back in the day, my kids were home, and I needed to get kind of through all the family stuff so I could get down here, and then they would get settled in. I mean, they were older, right? At that time, I had some high schoolers at that point, but it just took a while. Yeah. And Joe says, this show is going to make me hungry. Mark, you got some stuff queued up from a picture standpoint. I'm hoping?
Yeah, I got a couple. Okay. I got some pizzas. I got some beef ribs.
Don't bring it up yet. We'll get folks. You drinking anything? You said water. You're taking a break from you're trying to.
I'm slowing down on beer and I'm trying to avoid booze. Trying to.
It's a good call.
I only drink if I'm going out for some friends or for dinner. We'll have it, but I haven't opened up my liquor cabinet in 3 months.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for you. Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of this. I'm hearing this from a lot of people. Now, that's not the trend at my house, but we're hearing that from a lot of folks. It's kind of like, I'm going to slow down a little bit. It helps. There's a lot of calories in liquor, And
every time I've lost weight, I've found that it isn't just the calories. It's booze has calories, but it affects your weight loss differently than
it does. It does.
Like, it's not just 200 calories. It's 200 plus something to your metabolism.
Well, and I find, like, the other night I went out, it was a weeknight. We went out, my neighbor had a fire pit going. He's like, hey, you want to come over? And so I grabbed a bottle of whiskey. Not much. Well, probably more than I should have, and then I get home and then I want to snack. It's like 10 o'clock and then I want to start snacking.
They go hand in hand.
Do some crackers, some Ritz crackers. And then you're like, oh, maybe I'll break into the candy a little bit. Right. Yeah. No,
quick nachos.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Brian's checking in as well. He says, good evening. Thanks, guys, for coming out. We'll give it a second here. Well, okay, so we're saying that, but I will admit, I've got a little Jefferson's rye, which this is brand new to the Jefferson's line. The Collison family is our big Jefferson's fans. Yeah, not in the sense, that's not the most popular whiskey in the world, especially here in the United States. A lot of folks are like, we like it. This is one of their straight ryes, 44% or so, 88 proof. And I think actually it says, I didn't realize this, distilled in the U.S. 70% and Canada 30%. Mark, thank you.
Probably from Alberta.
Probably. They make a lot of rye out of Alberta. A lot of stuff coming out of there. I hadn't read that before, so that's cool. Yeah, little Jefferson's rye.
Enjoy it while it lasts, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this was a $30 bottle of Jefferson's, which typically Jefferson's is 30 to 70, 80, depends on what you get. They have an ocean, goes out and they put it in barrels, put it on a boat, go up and down the Caribbean, those kinds of things with it. But I picked up $30. It was good. It was a good rye. Of course, rye is everything, and almost everything in Canada is rye whiskey. That's their brand in a lot of ways.
I'm just trying to see. I bought some Gibson's special edition rye a few years ago from the LCBO, and it was on clearance, and it's a really smooth rye. I'm just trying to see if I can find the brand of it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I had a friend bring me some Canadian Club from up there, and that's just standard. That's pretty. That's pretty fit. You can find that here in the U.S. It's easy to find. But I put it out in the shed and let it it's been sitting out there, warming and cooling, and now it's in a bottle, so it's not like it's in a barrel.
It's
But
aging.
it's pretty good. Like it now, it's pretty tasty out there. So I've got it in we have a distillery here in Omaha that makes their bottles look like military canteens. It's a whole military brand kind of thing. Patriarch Distilleries is what they call it. So put it in there, stored it out in the shed. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. So thanks for coming out. Joe, good to see you. Brian, good to see you. If you're out there in chat, check in. I'd love to hear from you. We got some grill stuff coming up, some barbecue and grill stuff. I have no idea what, but I'm sure Mark has got some stuff queued up and ready to go. So we'll have a good time. Have you bought any new equipment, Mark?
Yep. I bought my Hero Grill.
Okay. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. We'll talk about that. I've been crushing the beef jerky. Just making it, I watch for the London broil to go on sale, or sometimes our local grocery store will clearance out those top rounds or the London broils, right, which just turn into great beef jerky. Every time I see a brisket, I'm thinking, oh, I could make some brisket jerky, but I haven't.
Have you tried it yet?
Well, based on your recommendations, I tried it one time. It was early in my beef jerky journey, and I don't know if I got it just right. I don't know if I cut it just right. You got to kind of cut it against the grain.
Absolutely.
I may have gone with the grain on it. I was learning. I was learning.
I want to do some pork jerky.
Yeah. What would you use?
Pork loin.
Okay. You think you can do that?
Yeah, oh yeah. And it's dirt cheap. It's like
oh yeah, loin is cheap.
$2.50 a pound up here.
Mm-hmm.
So like $1.75 for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, loin $1.99 is kind of what on sale. Yeah.
And it's lean. Like there's not a whole lot of trimming.
For sure it's lean. Yeah.
So
we've been making our own chops. Like we buy the whole loin, and then just cut it down, and you can kind of then get some thin ones if you want to do it that way. You can make them extra thick and grill them a little bit longer. Or Mark, I should save this for the show. Let me save it for the show. Let's get going here, and we'll get going, guys. Thanks for coming out. Check in if you have. I see Joe and Brian. If you're out there, let us know. We got some good stuff coming up here. Let me start this thing. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 646 with Mark Robson, recorded on May 15th, 2025. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in a beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska. It's the best time of the year. May is the best month in Bellevue. Of course, we'll post a show with some real close show notes out at the AverageGuy.tv. Mark, is there a good month where you're at? Tell me again. Tell the listeners where you're located. Is there a good month that you kind of look forward to weather-wise?
May and September. May, June, and September.
And where are you again? Where are you
Ottawa.
close to? Ottawa. May and September. Okay, so very similar to us.
Yeah. Right? Late June, it's getting warm. July, it's hot. August, it's stinking hot. So September again starts to cool down a little bit. So right now and June is good.
Yeah. May in Nebraska, there's nothing better. Flowers are out. Bugs haven't quite come out yet. When you think about grilling or barbecue or being outside or just sitting out there enjoying a cocktail, May's the month. The problem in Nebraska is the bugs are so bad because of the river that the later fall, you got to wait for that first real hard freeze to kind of knock down the bugs. So the fall isn't as great. I mean, it's okay, but the spring, April, May, just dynamite. We're in that season right now. So, let's see, Brian, real quick. They're saying they're hearing some crackling. Audio is crackling a little bit. I wonder why that would be. You're not hearing anything from me, are you, Mark?
No. Is it both of us or just me?
Yeah. Chat room. Who are you hearing it from me? I'm sure maybe they're hearing it from me. Yeah, is it both of us? Is it just me? We'll get that we can get that ironed out before we get too much farther. I guess I could go listen to it on the other side, but
Yeah, we had snow like 3 weeks ago.
still just not. It melted pretty fast though,
It
right?
did, but we got
I'm assuming.
a couple inches of snow as a dump.
Yeah, yeah. Both of us. Okay, let's see. What would be causing that on the audio? Give me 1 second here, guys. We'll see if we can. We got that going on. Let's see. That looks good. Show the advanced options. Maybe we'll turn that. That's for me though, so I'm not sure. I don't want to keep going. Give me 1 sec here. I'll edit this part out, but let's go to the averageguy.tv real quick. Listen to it real fast. I don't want to do that one. We'll just edit this part out. Let's see. Let me. Okay, guys, I'm listening on my end. It sounds okay. Can I have you guys refresh real quick? If you're listening, I could be pushing it too hard. That could be it as well. I didn't hear it. I went and listened on the live stream there, and I didn't hear it. So I think, yeah, who knows? Yeah, I'll fix it in post. Well, let me hold on. Let me get back to the notes here. Of course, we'll post a show with a few world-class show notes out here at the averageguy.tv. Big thanks to our Patreon subscribers. If you are one of those, you can send me it supports it every single month. You can join us, theaverageguy.tv/Patreon. Then a big thanks to our affiliate users. If you head out to theaverageguy.tv, upper right-hand corner, click on the affiliate link. It'll pass you through to Amazon, and that benefits the network. So appreciate you guys doing that. A couple of you did that last couple weeks, and appreciate it as well. Big thanks to Gavin Campbell, who joined us last week, and it's always good to have him on. And Mark, we talked a little bit about, he upgraded 100 amps to 200 amps. Is that for you in your area? I mean, it seems to be real common with a lot of folks moving towards EV vehicles.
Oh, we already have 200 amps, and any new home is a 200 amp home.
Okay, yeah.
He's in Toronto, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, Gavin, thanks for joining us last week as well. Well, you heard from him already. Mark Robson's joining me tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about food. So you better, if you're listening live, you might want to get a few snacks by you. If you're listening to the podcast, yeah, exactly. Stop it, go eat, then come back. Mark, how are you? Good to see you.
Thank you. Pretty good.
Good to have you. I was looking at I don't know what made me think of this first time we had you on. I think it was 2016, August 27th, 2016. Does that sound about right? Mike Howard,
yeah,
joined us in those days before we lost Mike.
And that was spawned by you seeing a conversation on the Facebook group, about Mike and I talking about how many barbecues we had, and you couldn't believe. I think we had 5 between us at the time, or 6.
I think so. Mike was a big grill barbecue guy, and of course I knew him really well. I didn't know you very well, and so that gave us the opportunity to connect. I think we did a few shows with both of you, and then of course we lost Mike during in 2020, and then you and I have continued. One year we've done 2. I think most of the years we've done 1, kind of a spring show that we talk about it. I look back to that show in 2016, just a sample of what we talked about: Rec Tech, pellet smokers, bear claws, a meat smoking guide, bear can chicken gear. Yeah.
Beer can.
Yeah, beer can. Did I say bear?
Yeah.
Maybe I was thinking of Canada. The instant read thermometers, wireless thermometers, grill mats, which I still use a ton of today. And then that was Mike's. He brought some rubs, some other pieces to it. Your section: Acorn Grill, Weber Performer, Weber Smoky Mountain, Traeger Tailgater, Thermopen. So, like, Not much has changed since then, right? I mean, still, that's a lot of that stuff's still out there, though, right?
It is. I don't have any of those anymore. I got
They're
rid of
all
all
gone.
those.
They're all
I've
gone.
and not just stopped. I just upgraded them or changed them out.
Yeah, yeah. Sold them.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Gave away my Acorn. Sold, I think, everything else.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Acorn, I used it to the 90% of its life, and I gave it to a guy who gave me a really good deal on doing a laminate floor.
Oh, nice. Wow. Well, that's
And he's still using it.
Certainly a way to do. Okay, let's get caught up with you from a grill perspective. So, what do you got? What equipment do you have sitting on the back patio at this point?
I'm down to 3.
Okay. What?
Plus,
What?
yeah.
What? What's
down to
going
3
on?
plus
You
my
okay?
pizza.
You okay? Things are okay.
Down to 3 plus my pizza oven.
Okay.
So 3.5.
Okay.
I have a Komodo Joe Big Joe, which is a 300-pound ceramic.
Mm-hmm.
I have my RecTech 680, which is a 680 square inch pellet grill with a PID controller, Wi-Fi, and everything on it, with another 100 square inches of rack on top of that, and a 40-pound hopper. And then a grill I've been wanting forever, but I refused to pay the list price for it. I picked up in November. It's called a Yoder YS480.
Yoder, huh?
Yeah. And it is a 300-pound heavy built pellet grill.
What is it? You got a RecTech. What
Yeah.
is it about this that's better than that?
Yoder was known for making offset smokers, before they ever got into the pellet grill. They were an offset smoker company that started making pellet grills, not a pellet grill company. That's exactly what I got.
Yeah.
So that little guy is 300 plus pounds.
Oh, it's a tank.
It's a tank. The lid, you can see the lid with the balance bar at the top there.
Mm-hmm.
That lid's about 35 or 40 pounds.
What's sticking up is a weighted balance, right?
Yeah.
That's so when you lift it up, the lid's not so heavy.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you buy it new?
No.
That's okay. I was gonna say that's like electric vehicle price kind of stuff there.
It
right?
was 12 years old. I bought it from a guy who was about 85 years
Oh.
old that was moving into a retirement home with his wife. I paid $1,000 for it.
Okay.
His daughter put it up in the market on Monday night. It was a miserable night. I said, I'll come see it tonight. I'll give you a deposit tonight. Like, I want it.
Wow.
And she said, no. She said, I'll hold off until tomorrow. And went and saw it the next day. And I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, here you go. Here's $100 to hold it. And then went out in the weekend and picked it up. So it needs a little bit of a TLC. It's starting to rust a little bit, but
sure.
Like it's heavy gauge metal. You can take the entire thing apart, refinish it, repaint it.
Where are they built?
Kansas, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's that little plaque you can see on the front actually has a serial number on it. So I think mine is like 13,248.
And that's the number they've made, I'm assuming, right? At this point.
As a 2012.
Yeah.
So this guy used it twice a year to do ribs. And that was it.
Wow. Did it get covered? Do you know?
Oh yeah. It came with a brand new cover. It came with a brand new winter cover. The winter cover is $600 Canadian, $500 Canadian.
Nice.
That's the newest version. So that's got a Wi-Fi controller on it. It's got, you might have heard of a company called Fireboard. Mm-hmm. They're one of the top Wi-Fi thermometers for barbecues and controllers. They actually have a fan kit for charcoal. So Yoder partnered with Fireboard to make their new controller, which is on that. So I can get that as a retrofit kit for mine. I think it's $600 US. So, and that gives you dual temperature probes, PID control, just a more modern
PID. Remind me what PID controller is.
I always forget what the proportional, integral, and derivative.
It's the pellets.
It's your oven has one. Anything with a heater has one. So basically what it does is it tries to get you up to temperature and as close to that temperature as you can without as much floating on top of it.
Yeah. This is the burn box, I'm assuming.
Yeah, which is different from most of the other ones. So that's the edge that you see on the left-hand side there behind that part that drops down. That's the edge of the grill. So normally like the RecTech, it puts into the middle of it.
Yeah.
The Traegers will put it sort of a foot into the middle of it. Yeah. This puts up completely right on the left hand side, and
all the way to the left, right
Yep.
next to the hopper, basically.
Right next to the hopper,
Yeah, yeah.
and it drops pellets into it. So it didn't. A lot of them feed pellets into the burn pot.
Yeah, the pellets come right above the burner, basically,
yeah,
right?
Where this thing actually drops them off a couple inches above it, so it falls. You can hear them falling into the burn pot all the time.
Yeah. So I'm assuming from a Wi-Fi perspective, you can monitor and change all these settings for it.
I can't right now because I have the old version.
You got the old one, but when you get the new one,
yes,
I'm assuming you'll be able to control all those pieces.
So my RecTech was the same thing. I bought it with the old one. The new controller was $100. This one, that controller's a $600 kit. So it's new fan, new controller.
Is it this controller that we're looking at here
on
the screen? Yeah, $600. I mean, for some folks, that's a propane grill, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing on this thing. It's like buying a Mercedes or a BMW.
Yeah.
Once you buy it,
right.
My wife bought a Jira coffee maker. Like
yeah, we have those at work. We have those at work. Yeah.
So we have one for home. Yeah. And then the milk frother, the carafe that you put the milk in for it to suck it up was $50.
Yeah.
And she's complaining about it. I'm like, you have a Ferrari of a coffee maker. You're going to pay Ferrari pricing for the.
Actually, pretty cheap for that piece, to be honest.
Right? It was a glass jar with a little metal tube down the middle of it, and it was $50. And she was complaining. I'm like,
oh, we have a full size because we have the big ones at work, right? They bought 2 of them for us, and so we have the full size carafe. So it probably holds, I don't know, half a gallon of milk in there.
Yeah, no, this thing holds 2 cups.
Okay. Yeah, $50 might be a little much.
But we've had it now for 3 years, and she uses it every day. So
yeah, I love this Wi-Fi. The picture of the Wi-Fi antenna sticking out of the back there. It's funny that they put that on there. Have you ever had to place? We're looking at we're looking at the burner here. Have you ever had to go in and replace the burner on? On your okay.
So anybody who has a pellet grill, if you ever get your GFI popping when you try and firing it up, it's more than likely because your hot what do they call them? Not a hot jog. Your hot rod has failed.
Yeah.
And they'll actually eat through it. They'll actually get so hot that they actually eat through the metal on them.
How long would I expect? I got this Pit Boss Austin XL that I love it. By the way, I love it. We're looking at this Yoder, and it's narrow, like it's thick and narrow. I like to put a lot of beef jerky when that's kind of been my specialty over the last year or so.
That's what I use the RecTech for, because that's 680 square inches, and I have jerky racks. I can do 3 high.
Yeah.
So I'll do like 6 pounds of jerky at once.
6 pounds? Mm-hmm. Man, I thought it was doing good with 3. Nicely done.
And then I freeze it.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It freezes really well.
Jerky frozen, and then when you pull it out, do you take it out of the container that you froze it in to let it?
So what I do is I bring it to work. I leave it in the freezer at work. And when I want some, I pull it out, put it on a piece of paper towel, microwave it for 15 seconds because there's not a lot of moisture in it. And it's nice and warm and pull apart. And but it freezes. Like if I'm making 6 pounds myself, I won't eat that in the weekend.
No. Well, I mean, you could, but you shouldn't.
So I'll vacuum seal it into like 2 pound bags or 1 pound bag and toss it in the freezer and pull some out, leave some at work, leave some at home.
Yeah, the Austin XL has got 1,000, but that would include the top shelf, and I almost never put the top shelf in. So I probably
it's the same as a RecTech.
Yeah, probably the same kind of thing. And comfortably, I use 2 frog mats. I could probably put a third one in there, and I could probably do just on the bottom rack, maybe 3 pounds. And then in theory, you could probably put 2 more pounds on top if you want to do it that way. We just do 2 pounds at a time, 2-ish, right? Between 2 and 3 pounds at a time. But Mark, I mean, that's the best thing you've ever added to my life, by the way, is making beef jerky fresh, because my granddaughter,
it's so much better.
She's 10, and every time she comes over, she says, "Grandpa Jim, do you have beef jerky? Is there beef jerky?" At first thing she says when she comes over. And so for her birthday and some other things, we make sure we've got fresh stuff. But sitting around the fire and being able, sometimes if I can time it just right, pulling that jerky off fresh, man, so good. Like
I went to a friend's cottage a few summers ago and I brought some up. and they have an annual. So Canada Day, so it's July 1st versus July 4th for you guys.
Yeah.
So he has a party every year, and every time this guy comes up, every time I come up, the guy's like, "So you got any jerky with you?" He had it once, and that was enough for him to.
No, right on. Hey, enhance my life a little bit more. So right now, beef jerky, we throw it in the bowl, slice it up, throw it in the bowl, put the marinade in it, let it go overnight. When I put it on, I'll just put regular black pepper on the top of it to kind of, to season it. If what else? Like this works well for me, but what else would you? Any recommendations for me on what I could? I'd lay it out on the frog mats, and then I just sprinkle. Sometimes I'll use the fresh grinder and just grind it over the top and let it sit for 6 or 7 or 8 hours or whatever. Any thoughts on seasoning?
I've always done the same recipe, modified, but I always do the same recipe, and it was from a site called Hey Grill Hay, and she has a Dr. Pepper jerky.
Oh,
Dr. Pepper jalapeno jerky. So I'll take her recipe and I'll put in some hot sauce into it, some like serious hot sauce into it. And then I take jalapenos and I dice them up. But the mistake I made the first time I made it was I was boiling it because you have to simmer it. So I was simmering it with the jalapenos in the house. My wife walked in and she almost fell over from the vapors. So she had to go upstairs to the bedroom. I had to bring her food because you couldn't breathe in the house.
Oh my gosh.
Because the peppers were boiling in the sauce. So now what I do is I chop up the peppers and I put them into the marinade unboiled and I just let them soak into the meat.
Yeah.
Okay. So I use her recipe. I think I if I remember right, I take the salt out of her recipe and I replace it with steak spice.
Okay.
And I double the steak spice quantity. So if she calls for like 4 tablespoons, I'll say I'll put 8 tablespoons of Montreal steak spice in.
Yeah. I'll have to try that. Straight steak spice.
Yeah.
Steak spice. There we go. Maybe a little too much whiskey.
And that with the reduced Dr. Pepper, because you got to reduce it down by half.
Okay.
And there's some other stuff in there. I have to look at it again. With the pork, I'm going to try doing some pork jerky. I'm going to do just a simple teriyaki to try it out with.
Okay.
And if it works, then I'll look at doing some other flavors too.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to. You've mentioned that in years past, the Dr. Pepper. I have to look into that a little bit more. Sarah
Dr. Pepper jalapeno jerky.
Yeah.
That's tasty.
I've tried both teriyaki marinade which is really good. But lately I've been doing a honey bourbon barbecue marinade.
That'd be good too.
Also been very, very good. Yeah. Then just sprinkle a little salt. I'll have to mess with the spice a little bit more. The just regular black pepper brings it to a nice heat without it being kind of offensive. Jalapeno, of course, can get a little more. It can get a lot hotter.
Oh, I put some serious, like some 100,000, 200,000 Scoville hot sauces into it too.
Yeah, that's a little too much for me. I like to enjoy it, not die.
Oh, it ends up being sharp is probably the best way of putting it. Like not burn your mouth off, but just you got some heat to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've enjoyed pulling that off the grill fresh. We got a fire pit going on, maybe some cocktails and a cigar, and I don't know if there's anything better than that. It's pretty great.
Nothing wrong with that. Like you out there, when I'm making it, I'm always going out and I'm like, yeah, not quite ready yet, but that was good.
You almost need a pound for just testing,
which is why I make 6 pounds.
Yeah, no, right on. It's a good one of the things I've found is, of course, as you're slicing down that top round or you're slicing down the London broil, those are 2 easy cuts that are easy to get for the average guy, so to speak. London broil you can get at Walmart for $6 a pound. Sometimes your local butcher might be selling those things. They can't sell them in time, and so I've gotten them fairly inexpensive on, hey, they're trying to push these things out. Like, let's move this stuff on. Just swing by, the local grocery store. But slice that up, and then of course you have some awkward ends, right? And slice those down, and that's those are the tasting ends.
Oh yeah,
right. And throw those on at a spot. I kind of spread them out across the frog mats, so I know like the various levels. The other thing I do, Mark, the Austin XL that I have, it's hotter on one end than on the other, right? Even though the burn pit is in the middle, the left end is a little colder than the right end, right?
You got to rotate.
So I rotate. Yeah, and the frog mats make that super simple. Just pull that one out, slide the other one down, slide it on the other side. A couple hours, 3 hours maybe. But those little tidbits, those little morsels, those little ends, so to speak, super tasty and a great way to test, right?
I picked up a slicer, a Cuisinart slicer last year that I have to take out the box to do my jerky with.
Oh yeah.
I was going to do bacon with it.
I am close to a cutter. Like I hand cut them. So I freeze them, bring them out the night before, the next morning, pull them out. They're not quite frozen, but they're still because you don't want them solid.
No.
They're hard to cut solid, right? But an overnight in the fridge, cut them down, get them ever so thin. The one thing I'd like to do, and this is where your Cuisinart would come in handy, is get them more uniform.
Yeah. And easier. You're not killing your wrist trying to cut 6 pounds of frozen meat.
Well, 6 pounds. 2's not bad. I can usually get through that. I actually use a mitt to hold the meat because the other hand gets pretty cold right after a while. Okay, enough about beef jerky. What else have you been cooking lately that that you want to talk about?
Well, we did. Let's see if we can get this to work.
Yeah, share it again. I'll bring it up on screen here.
Yeah, I just we did homemade pizzas a couple months ago.
And what's your brand? What's your pizza oven brand?
Uni.
Say it again.
Uni.
Okay.
Window. So my wife was she wasn't sure about this one, but she says it's one of the nicest pizzas she's ever eaten. So that's
and is this what kind of pizza is this? Gas? Are you doing wood fire? Wood pellet.
Wood pellet.
Okay.
It was one I picked up for $50 8 years ago. Yeah. The guy was tired. He had it for sale for a couple $100. He got tired of people showing up and not realizing what it was.
Yeah.
So I reached out to the guy and I said, I'll take it. He goes, do you know what it is? I said, yeah, I've used it before. He says, okay, $50. So I showed up. He gave me the oven, the pizza oven, the carrying bag, and a bag of pellets. Like
$50.
$50.
And you've had it 8 years.
Canadian. So what's that, like $35 US?
Yeah. I love that. Canadian.
So this was, we have a chain up here called Metro, and they make actually a decent pizza dough. So we just go and buy their dough as a kit.
Okay.
So this was Metro pizza dough, burrata cheese, fig jam, prosciutto, and red onion.
Looks good to me.
It was a star pizza.
How long? Okay, so in some pizza ovens, you got to spin those around a little bit. Is that still the case on a pellet fire? So, in 7 to 10 minutes, or faster than that? Once you get
90 seconds.
Oh, okay. So you're 600 degrees in there, I'm assuming.
Actually, I got a temperature. Did that share, or do you want to share again?
It should move. Should. Oh, okay. Yeah, share again.
Window.
Let's put that in there. There we go. Oh, geez. 1,000 degrees.
1,000 degrees.
1,000 degrees in there. Holy. And that doesn't cook it too fast?
No.
Okay.
You turn it 3 times.
Yeah. Tony says in chat, you guys can start throwing stuff in chat. Also buy my dough from the store at Pizza Oven. It's a good way. I think it's a good way to do it. I mean, certainly making your own, during the pandemic, a lot of folks made sourdough, and making your own sourdough pizza crust, pretty delightful, right? I mean, that's a pretty tasty way to go. But for stuff like this, I've been so tempted. Solo makes a pizza oven.
Yeah.
And then the pizza oven craze kind of came and went. I mean, it's still there, but I've been thinking about picking up a pizza oven because that would be fun just to have out on the patio. And
just look on Facebook.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All the stuff I have.
Yeah.
The 3 grills I have left and the pizza oven I bought all used. And I got wicked deals on all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good way to do it. What do you think? The like Solo got into this space, and there are some, for a while, all of these, grill manufacturers doing it. Any thoughts today? If you were going to buy one today, any thoughts on what you'd go with?
It's all depends on how hardcore you want to get.
Okay.
It's like for me for the couple times a year I use mine for $50 works out great. Right? It's there's a guy I can't barbecue dad or barbecue daddy, something like that. He's a Facebook guy. He was tied in with Komodo Joe. Now he's tied in with Big Green Egg, and he has an entire backyard of smokers, grills, and he treats cooking like an art form. Like but it's got to be actually more like science. Everything has to be precise. He has exactly, you do this and you do this and you do this to this temperature. And
is it this guy?
Yes. He is he's hardcore to the extreme. Yeah. And I think he did a comparison one time of all the different ways to cook pizza in your backyard, including solo. So he's done complete articles on doing pizza.
He's got some Komodo Joe stuff that's out there. So
yeah, he just broke his relationship with Komodo Joe.
Really?
Yeah, he was with them for years.
Look at this, how to build a Komodo Joe station. Look at this thing. Like that
with dimensions and everything.
Yeah, that's hardcore right there.
I think he has 5 Komodos in his backyard.
Wow.
Plus some solo grills. And
James Mack is his name. If you're listening to the audio version of this, I think I searched smokingdadbarbecue.com if you want to head out there and take a look at it. He's got an interesting, right here, look at this table that we're showing that's got room for 2 of them on it. Man, there's a lot of eating to do if you're cooking that much stuff. I wonder what, for some of these YouTube guys, I wonder what they do. Like,
give it away.
I was going to say they cannot. You kind of do that too, right? You make a ton of stuff and then you have folks over.
Or like, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I did 42 pounds of pulled pork at once, 42 pounds of pork shoulders at once.
Whew. And 42.
It was 2 pork shoulders, 2 21-pound pork shoulders.
Wow. And
that only took up a third of my grill. Okay. Like I could have put another 4 in there.
Yeah.
I pulled it all apart. My stepbrother just had a newborn, so we brought him 3 pounds. We have some good neighbors, so I gave them 1.5 pounds each. I brought some into work for my buddy and some friends of my buddy that I know well. And then I vacuum sealed some up for ourselves, and I think I vacuum sealed some up for the cottage. So it was pulled pork vacuum seals really well, and then just reheat it in water or reheat it in a cooler in hot water.
Yeah, it does freeze well. We always make a little bit more. I think I've picked this up from you. I've been doing pulled pork with a shoulder, cut it down, and then we add ribs, and I've added loin. I've done a pork belly.
You're doing the whole pig.
Time to time. Yeah, it's a whole hog. Right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of just shop whatever's available. I've been going to the store like, what's on sale? You pick it up, throw that all together. I think, Mark, the key, if I were to say the best piece of meat to do with pork shoulder, it's ribs for sure. And then let that, for me anyways, and then let that just sit in there with it and let it smoke low temperature all the way through. And when you can pull those ribs out, it's ready, right?
Back ribs are short ribs?
Baby back.
Yeah.
Baby back.
I don't like this. A lot of Kansas City people love the side ribs, and I find them too fatty.
Yeah.
A nice thick baby back. Dry brine or dry rub. Just salt, pepper, garlic, and lemon juice on it when you serve it is.
Yeah, I cut them in half and then throw the half or stack the half
into the pulled pork, into the pork shoulder.
And I think I've been doing it shoulder bottom and the ribs on top and then the pork bellies on top of that, thinking the fat from the pork bellies would render through. I think that's actually wrong. I think I need to have pork belly on the bottom by the most of the heat to let that pork belly fat render out, and let the shoulder on top with the fat on top render its way down in that stack, kind of thinking about the meat stack that way. I think I need to flip it around and get the fattier stuff on the bottom. Because what I found is the the pork belly that I could buy was cut in cubes, and maybe that's part of the problem, right? But
Yes,
the
yeah, I buy
top of
mine
it was, yeah,
in the full.
if I could get a slab of it, but
Yeah,
the part of it was it being on top, that fat wouldn't, and I'd be such at a low temperature, that fat wouldn't render like I wanted it to. It wasn't getting hot enough or the right temperature. Do you know, like, what's the right temp for fat to render? Do you know? Do you know?
it's going to render between. Oh, it renders all the way up to like 200 plus.
Okay.
But you got to get it to 160 probably to start getting a lot of it out. Like if I look at my pork shoulder when I open it up in the morning, that's only getting to about 160. It hadn't dropped a lot of fat yet. By the time it hits the 203, it definitely got it. Because when
Yeah.
my pork shoulder is done, it's lean.
Yeah, I may not be. I wonder. I may not be getting it hot enough.
What temperature do you cook it at?
200 or 225. It depends on the outside temperature.
250, 275.
Okay. Maybe
250 probably ideal.
Yeah, maybe I mean I did like 8 hours at 225, and it just didn't. I wasn't as satisfied with the pork belly rendering as I thought I would. Ken has asked, how do you cook a pork belly?
It all depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
We make something we call it, it's an Asian pork belly salad. So we make a homemade peanut sauce. We buy the pork belly either in like the whole half, or we'll buy it in the strips. At Costco up here, you can buy it in like 1x1 strips. So the width of the pork belly in there 1x1. We season that with salt, pepper, garlic, and then we smoke it for about 6 or 7 hours on indirect. And then we'll cube that up.
What temp?
250, 275.
Yeah. I think I'm cooking too low.
Lower temperatures are good for smoking, but not as good for cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll serve that on a bed of Asian noodles, coleslaw, like unflavored coleslaw, just a chopped cabbage, cilantro, the homemade peanut sauce, and we'll take some of the pork belly, dice it up a little bit, and pan fry it to make it really crispy, almost like bacon bits, and then serve that with peanuts. And
nice.
That
sounds good.
We love doing that. We've also made some like banh mi bun style sandwiches before with pickled onions and pickled cucumbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For the pork belly.
Yeah.
But we always do it sort of 5 to 7 hours, basically looking at it. You don't want to get too crispy. You want it to still be juicy.
Yeah.
But you want it to be cooked. And you want to cook anything higher than 165 is cooked. So, or you can make bacon out of it. So it's the same stuff to make bacon out of it. Just
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just getting in bigger chunks. One of the things you taught me to do was smoke or cook the day before, then refrigerate it, and then the next day I just throw it in the crock pot, brine it or sauce it or whatever we're going to do with it, and bring it up to temp real slow again, and it's delicious. And we did that just a couple weeks ago for some event we were having. I did that pulled pork, did it on Saturday. Then we just threw it in the crock pot on Sunday and low, and just let it come up to temp, by dinner. And it was great. Yeah.
I'm doing it now a week ahead of time. So we have a big family reunion every year. And instead of trying to do it on that weekend, making sure it's ready on time, because my pork shoulders are 17 hours to cook.
Yeah.
Oof. I put them on at 9 o'clock at night, and I cook them till 2 or 3 o'clock next day, and then let them rest for 4 or 5 hours, and then pull them.
Yeah. That's the right way to do it. I got to start getting out ahead of it earlier.
So I'll do that the weekend before.
Right.
Vacuum seal it into 2 or 3 pound bags. The day of the party, I'll toss it into a cooler with a couple of kettles of hot water for an hour in the Ziploc bags, pour onto a pan, and then there you go. Everybody can eat. But we never sauce ours because we have too many people. We make a Carolina sauce, and we have a Memphis sauce, like a darker, sweeter sauce. So we can't just do one. I love the Carolina. My wife hates it. So we do sauce afterwards.
It's a good way to do it. You were talking about the pizza oven. How long, to get 1,000 degrees in there? How, like,
15 minutes.
If you're going to cook a couple, so do you think it's worth it for a couple pizzas to bring it up to that heat, and then
15 minutes?
Okay, 90 seconds, you're done, and you're eating pizza, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've shown it to. I have a friend of mine. He's a winemaker down in Picton, which is about 3 hours from our place. He's a certified pizzaiola from Naples. And I've showed him some of my pizzas, and he looks at me and goes, that looks like a good pizza. He says that is a fantastically made home pizza.
Home pizza?
Yeah. And now he has 2 pizza ovens, and he's cooking his in a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's running them at 1200 degrees.
But come in, turn it on, get the pellets going, 15 minutes to 1,000 degrees or 900, let's say.
Yeah.
And you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we do. We do. Say that again, Sarah. She's talking. Oh, she said she'd have to move it 5,000 feet from the house. No, it's insulated, right?
No. Oh, no.
Oh, no, they get pretty hot, huh?
Let's see if I have a picture of this.
Sarah's listening to the show through my speaking tonight as she's on the other side of the studio here cleaning something up, I think. But she's painting this week. So
that's what it looks like.
We'll add it to the hold on, let's get that in there. Okay.
So there's no insulation. It's stainless steel. The pellets go in the back. The smokestacks at the front. This is just when it's lighting, which is why it's got so much gray smoke. So it takes about 15 minutes to get completely hot. And then when you're done cooking, you have a little cap you put on top of it and let the thing burn out and
call it good.
Yeah.
I think those are good party. We used to have some, and it's not as popular now, but when this kind of stuff went through its face, folks would come around and you could have parties where then people would build their own personal pizzas. You could throw those in the pit. We do when we do pizza, we probably do 3. So that'd be a good, fired up, get it going. And to be honest with you, it's probably no different. I spend about 15 minutes bringing my grill up to temp, scrape it down, get it all kind of cleaned up and ready to go. So at the 20-minute mark, then I'm throwing the meat on, right? Basically at that point. So it's really no different, right?
No. And this gives you a wood-fired experience, right? It's a wood-fired pizza.
Yeah.
That's
pellet fired, but yes.
Well, pellets are made of wood.
Right on. Yeah, no, I know. It's so convenient. Do you burn any special pellets for that, or do you have a certain flavor that you like for that?
I have never found the flavor of pellets makes much difference in the wood and the taste.
Okay. Whatever's cheap, or do you go for quality over price?
I'm almost out of the ones I had bought. There's a company up here that makes them just northwest of Toronto called Pitmaster Blend or Pitmaster Pellets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a guy that Dorian that started up this company, and he's been growing this thing massively. So I was buying from him. Costco now sells them because it's now a commodity. When pellet grills first started up, we were hunting for pellets. Now you go to Costco and they got them for a 40-pound bag is $20 now.
Yeah. I think I get it for 17 at Menards, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I was paying at one point, I was paying over $1 a pound.
Mm.
So, and the Costco pellets, from what I've read, are Pit Boss pellets.
Yeah.
So they're made they're made in the same plant, just different bag.
Right. Yeah. And that's what Menards sells too. That's what I get, Pit Boss stuff. Yeah. No. Okay. So you don't think the flavor of the pellet matters?
No, personally, I have never been able to find that they smell great. I've got some beautiful ones from a company in the States called Lumberjack makes pellets, and they had some really nice blends, and you can smell the difference in the smoke, but I never found a difference in the taste. I never found I could actually taste what I was cooking on the meat.
That's where, like, the whole experience of being outside, cocktails. And if you have, Dave McCabe sold me a little cocktail smoker, and then cigars, that whole experience together while all that's going on, it's pretty great.
Now you do have to be careful of things like mesquite pellets are really strong.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to use mesquite with something like a big red meat, like a big steak. But all the fruit woods, I can't tell the difference between any of the fruit woods.
Competition blend. That's
what I get every time.
That'd be fine. Yeah. That's kind of what I do too. And I've done mesquite, and it smells, like you said, it smells good. I'm not sure I can necessarily taste it.
Yeah.
Flavor. Okay. What else? What else you got? What else you been cooking?
This one was one I dug through the freezer last year. Let's see if I share it, if it'll actually go through as I cycle through the pictures.
Yeah, I think it will.
So this was a set of beef ribs, but the thin ones. So I've been able to get some really big, thick plate ribs, so they're like a steak on the back of a bone. These were my first attempt at buying beef ribs, and they were really, really thin. And I wasn't real happy with them the first time I made them, so I tried experimenting with them. So this was after they were cooked, and they were beer braised beef ribs. So I smoked them to that point, then wrapped them in foil with some beer in it and sealed them up to try and get as much moisture into it as I could. And then it's kind of hard to eat that. So then we made a sandwich with provolone, fresh pickled onions, and that beef all chopped up. So I pulled all the beef off the ribs, I chopped it all up, and then made sandwiches out of it. And that was good. That was a really, really good meal.
Those bones pull right out for you?
Yeah. On those ones they did. Well, and braising helps with that too.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
I'll back up to the beginning of this one too. So cave manning, I think we talked about before.
Yep.
So cooking steaks right on the coals. That is in my Komodo Joe, Big Joe.
Which is super counterintuitive, by the way. You think they're gonna get like
flared up and everything,
or like charcoal stuff on them.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't really happen.
No, and I watched Alton Brown do this, and he said the charcoal, the dust from the charcoal with the juice from the steak makes a gravy on it. It doesn't taste ashy or anything. It tastes delicious.
Yeah.
So that was reverse seared. So that was the prime rib I was smoking. And then that's sitting on the grill. And I think
you got to watch the video. If you're listening to the audio, you got to come over and watch the video for this. I'm salivating watching that right now. That steak cook on there. Oh my gosh.
And that's over 1,000 degrees on the coals.
Wow. Yeah. How long do you leave it on the coals?
Only like a minute. Yeah.
Minute? Okay. Yeah.
The only downside with this one is you can see a string on it. The string burnt off.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things, Mark, I've been using my Apple Watch for is just to set those timers. That's super convenient. You're out there, you can turn your hand in and say, "Hey Siri, set a timer for a minute or for 2 minutes." I'm sorry, I just set people's watches off. Sorry about that. I set mine off at the same time. But it's a good that has been a really good tool to have. I know some folks have timers out by their grill and some of those kinds of things, but boy, that works really well to get those. And then you can go into the timer settings and it's got all kinds of, it's got the most common timers that you've used there, and you just kind of click on those. That's been super helpful. Another thing you have taught me is cooking to time, right?
Temperature.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but yes, temperature, right? But there's some time components to it for me, checking it I use the timer to kind of check it every so often to make sure it's getting to temperature. Right?
Yeah.
Your point. Right. And so the timers have been helpful to me. Otherwise, without a timer, I check it too soon, or I don't check it soon enough, kind of deal.
I ended up sitting on the back patio on the chair, timer going off, or timer set, and then just play a game on my phone until it's so then you're not right. consciously saying, I'm gonna go check it, I'm gonna check it.
No, I know.
This is another one that we did. We tried it a couple times last summer. So smoked cream cheese. This one was with a sweet rub that we then served with red pepper jelly. And this one was dill pickle rub. So Clubhouse dill pickle rub that we actually served with dill pickle slices on crackers.
Yeah.
So I did those.
Temp. What's the temp? And what's
250 is 275 for I think 90 minutes.
Ooh, warm, huh? For those,
yeah.
Like it didn't melt.
No,
in there and all?
That's when it's done. Like these are both when it's done.
Yeah.
It's separated on the cracks. And we took those to the cottage. So I actually made them up. Put them into a Tupperware container, brought them to the cottage, and then reheated them a little bit in the barbecue. I think when I got there, just to try and get them a little warmer again, and then serve them.
Yeah. Could you, in theory, so say like I wanted to make this kind of simple, take a cream cheese, put some, some kind of flavor or whatever you want, whatever you're thinking about, put that in the smoker, give it some time in there, and then bring it out, and you just take crackers, different flavors of crackers, and just come right off the cream cheese, and
If you do it right,
like little dip.
it's just soft and it's just like a dip. It's like a semi-firm dip.
Kind of thinking like a taco cream cheese dip would be.
If you look at smoked cream cheese recipes, there's all sorts of stuff. People are putting bacon on top of it, bacon crumbles, and they're putting they're making Mexican versions, they're making Italian versions, they're making and that's why we had 2 of them, because we had different flavors to try.
Right. Yeah.
And the last picture I got is we had a friend over that she's a meatitarian. She can't eat veggies. She has a reaction to them.
What? That's a thing? Really?
Oh, yeah. Anything with the skin, she has a bad reaction to.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't realize it, but I made these jalapeno poppers. And she had never had them before. This is the first time she came over for dinner. And these are shotgun shells on the around them. And I made 8 jalapeno poppers. But because those were slow smoked, she had no problem eating them. She didn't have any reaction to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because those things, when you do those right, they just end up melting like that. It's just delicious.
How long? Okay, so jalapeno in the center. You're wrapping it with what?
Bacon,
and then anything else that?
So you core it and you stuff it with. I've done a bunch of different things over the years, but cream cheese, cheddar cheese, and spices.
Okay.
I put turkey sausage in before. I was talking to somebody the other day about. One of the favorite ones I ever did was plain cream cheese, and I had gotten flattened steak. I can't remember where I got the steak from. It was a cheap piece of steak. So I pounded it flat, and then I wrapped it in pounded flat steak, and then put steak seasoning on it.
Oh.
And those are some of the best ones I ever did. Instead of using bacon, I used this flattened beef.
Yeah.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
Somebody said try peanut butter and chocolate. So I tried that, and it wasn't my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But so I have a friend of mine who fills these up with sausage meat and cream cheese.
Yeah.
And then wraps them in bacon. So these are all, they're a bit of a pain to make, but they're always a hit. Like
they're kind of finicky. We make oh shoot, it's a Filipino egg roll. What do they call those?
Spring rolls?
Tilapia? No. Something like, anyways. There you gotta cut a bunch of stuff small, you gotta mix it together, you gotta fill them up, you gotta wrap them tight. But we deep fry them, and then lumpia. There we go. Sarah just shouted at me from the other room. Lumpia is what it is. And man, those come off the grill. They do not, they come off the deep fryer.
Last.
Yeah, the deep fryer.
Yeah.
They don't last. Like, they're pretty much gone. We made a whole bunch. There were like 2 left at the end of the night. I could see deep frying this same kind of thing, right? Throwing that in there and putting this thing in there.
I learned over the years. I used to make these, so I would have been 4 peppers used to make 4 poppers. I used to reassemble them, and now I'm like, no. So now I cut them in half, fill them up, wrap them with the cream cheese, and Ken's asking about a replacement for the Maverick. I'd probably look at Inkbird. There, right now I have an instant read thermometer from Inkbird that has Bluetooth on it and 2 remote probes. So if you want to use it as an instant read, you can use it. And if you put it beside your barbecue, you can actually run the 2 probes into the barbecue to measure 2 meats while you're cooking.
Would you do something as opposed to a meter, because those are thinner probes? I mean, the meter probe is pretty thick.
It's also expensive.
It's true.
The Maverick he's talking about, they were like $25.
Just probes, regular probes. Yeah.
So the Inkbird I use it when I go to the cottage. So we rent a cottage. I bring this one probe up that lets me do instant read and cooking read, and it was like $45 Canadian or something. But they seem to be a replacement for Mavericks. Like they have a bunch of different ones.
Inkbird, is that what you said? Okay, Inkbird. I think I've seen those.
I have 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. Tony says those, what you were showing earlier, those are really good the next day cold.
Which ones, Tony?
I think
poppers or the shotgun shells?
The poppers, I think, is what he was referring to.
That was the other thing I was showing, was that the shotgun shells, but we took it down.
Yeah, put it back up. You can throw it back up if you want.
These are something that barbecue's got a bit of a it's got trends just like anything else. So
yeah.
For a while, everybody's talking about, oh, these shotgun shells are fantastic. I tried them. I didn't like them enough to try them again. So it's stuffed with, it's manicotti shells stuffed with pork and ground beef.
Yeah.
Wrapped in bacon, have a rub on them, and then just smoked.
Yeah.
And the pasta gets cooked from the meat on the inside and the bacon on the outside. But it was okay, but it wasn't enough for me to. It was a lot of work. It was more work to do those than it was to do the jalapeno.
It's a lot of work to stuff those.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Especially with the meat that doesn't. It's not like a cheese. It's not like soft, right? It's you're working with a thicker material, and I didn't find the flavor fantastic. There's a lot of other things I've made that were better than that.
You know, that kind of reminds me, we really enjoy it. Sarah doesn't like it, so we don't do it as often, but bacon wrapped asparagus. And I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't be throwing little cream cheese in that, right? So a little dollop of cream cheese in there, and then wrapping that asparagus in that. One of the things I've noticed about that, Mark, is the bacon really steams that asparagus in a special kind of way. Like when you'd bake asparagus or whatever, it kind of dries out. It's okay. It's not bad. But man, when you bacon wrap it and you pull that bacon off, that asparagus just steams out. I'll have to maybe think about throwing a little cheese in there or a little cream cheese to.
Have you ever heard of
smoothen that out?
Cream of balsamic?
No. No.
It's a thicker balsamic. It's almost like a balsamic syrup.
Yeah.
So those asparagus spears wrapped in bacon, drizzled with cream balsamic are
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are really, really good.
Yeah, that would be tasty.
There's a company called Nona's up here that sells it, and it's balsamic syrup almost.
Yeah. Have you ever drizzled a little honey on that?
I haven't on those, but I have on my. I've made candied bacon before.
Yeah.
Put it on that, and I've also put it on the cream cheese. I think when I did the sweet one, I think I brushed maple syrup on it.
Okay.
Because maple syrup's a thinner.
You just got that. It was just available in the gutters, right? You just grab some.
We have it in the tap. It's easier to use maple syrup because it's got a thinner consistency. Yeah. So it's easier to do. If you're trying to spread it on something that's soft like cream cheese, it's easier to put that on cheese. I put it when I smoke cheese, I drizzled maple syrup on the smoked cheese before I smoked it.
What kind of cheese? Just cream cheese?
I think the last time I did 10 different types at once.
Oh,
I think I did 25 pounds of cheese.
Oh my gosh. It is something I need to try. I have not smoked cheese yet.
And it lasts. We had some in our fridge last year from 2 years ago when we opened it up and it was still good.
Really? So once you smoked it, what do you use how do you package it?
Vacuum seal
it in the fridge. Just vacuum seal it?
Yeah. Okay. So what I do, I don't have any pictures this time, but what I do is I'll take a picture, I'll lay out all my different cheeses because I'll go and buy 6 different types. And I'll use toothpicks to differentiate them. So some of them have no toothpicks, some of them have 1 toothpick, some have 2 toothpicks, some have 1 broken toothpick, and some have 2 broken toothpicks. So that gives me 6 different, so I can go backwards afterwards and track it.
That makes sense.
And then when you're smoking it, you leave the toothpicks in it. And then when you're packaging it, you write on it, okay, we know that was Gouda, we know that was extra old cheddar, we know that was, and I think I did that. I think I put maple on the extra old cheddar when I smoked it.
Oh,
and then I let it sit on the counter for a couple hours to try and dry out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then vacuum seal it, and you don't touch it for 6 weeks.
Okay.
But you got to do it when it's cool.
Right.
Like right now, it's almost too warm to do it again.
It's too warm. Yeah. You got to get that in the fall or
in the spring.
Right.
Or winter.
Spring. Yeah. Yeah. You said Gouda. That'd be don't you think that's kind of the perfect smoking cheese? Just some Gouda?
That's one of them for sure. A good smoked cheddar is very good though too.
Yeah.
And I did one last year called Compte, Compte, is a hard British cheese.
Okay.
And that was good.
That was good.
Oh yeah.
Man.
You can't really go wrong, right? You just play around with stuff, and if it doesn't work, you don't tell anybody.
You're just like, I didn't do it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
For a while, you on Facebook, I was watching your neighbors. You'd be like, hey, I'm smoking this. And then they'd be like, can I come over? Can I? Can I do that? You
Oh,
know?
I was talking to somebody the other day who just bought a pellet grill on our street. And I said, well, if you're smelling smoking on our street, it's probably me. He goes, oh, we know it was coming from you. And he's like 8, 10 houses away, but he walks his dog and he smells it every time he goes around the corner.
Yeah, my neighbors the other day I was out. We had a neighborhood. Our neighborhood's getting pretty tight. And I had one of the neighbors the other day say, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" Like, because we're up the hill from him. It's like, "What are you doing up there? You got to stop doing that. It smells way too good when you're doing that kind of stuff." Justin Simmons out in chat says, "Yeah, me as well." He Tony said he's getting hungry during the show. Justin said, "Me as well. I have a lunch meeting in 56 minutes." He's in Australia, and they only serve commercial crap. So, yeah, Justin. Sorry, we're getting you hungry. This is what we do
once a year, Justin.
Yeah, this is what we do once a year to get caught up. Hey, Mark, when from a tech perspective, right? I mean, listen, grills have come light year ahead of where they were 10 or 15 years ago from a technology perspective, right? They're all Wi-Fi connected. We've got tons of temperature probes in them. We've got all kinds of insulation or tech or whatever. I mean, they're just built so much better. In some cases, I mean, you can still buy the cheap grills at Walmart or whatever, your big box store, and get
it's like any hobby.
Yeah, you can still get a $150 grill that's going to last you like a year or whatever. As you look ahead on grill or barbecue tech, anything you're seeing that from a new technology perspective that's interesting?
There's two ways I can look at that. One is I still drive a manual car because I like shifting gears.
Yeah.
And I still like driving a bike because it still has gears in it. So you could implement AI into automatically figuring out when to cook stuff, when to start stuff, what temperature to cook at to finish up what you want to do. And the meter kind of does some of that through algorithms. So it'd be like the next step. But part of it is I'm already cheating by going with a pellet grill, so to speak, because I don't have to tend to fire like an offset. But it's not cheating to the point I'm still having to have my own inputs into it. So I set my Rectech up to do, actually I'll post a picture of that. I set my Rectech up to do pulled pork overnight. This is my winter, that's my winter cooking area. So that's a hardtop gazebo with a tarp that goes over top of it and gives me a window and a door. So I can leave my grill in there in the winter uncovered, not to worry about the weather if I can get myself into it. So I'll set that thing up overnight. That'll run, that hopper's got a 40-pound hopper, so it'll run for 40 hours on smoke. I let it on smoke, which is 180 overnight. So at 9 o'clock at night till 6 a.m. And then I wake up, I look at my phone, I adjust the temperature from 180 to 250 for my phone. And then about 11 o'clock, I go out and look at it. So until that point, I haven't lifted the lid in 14 hours. And I've adjusted the temperature. I know it's got dual meat probes. I know where the temperature is on it. It's that part of it I like. So that's just enough technology to make it easier to use. But I don't know if I'd want to go to the next step of, oh, your pork's going to be ready in 4 hours and 15 minutes because AI is telling me it's going to be ready.
Yeah. Or I was thinking robots cooking the.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put that in there and then program it, and it would do its thing, right?
Yeah, I still like to have some involvement in it. I am using what the joke of the communities, they call them the easy bake ovens. The pellet grills are the easy bake ovens. Yeah. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have the desire to sit beside an offset smoker and feed it wood for 12 hours and stay up all night, because you're feeding those things every 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
A couple more splits of wood, and you have runaway when you open the door sometimes. And
could
pellet
there
grill
be,
for me is a nice mix because it's I'm still adjusting the temperature. I'm not.
Yeah. Could there be an alternative that has both pellet driven, and then you also have the ability to feed it some wood if you want to?
Yeah, there's a company called Smoke Daddy, I think it is, that actually makes a saddle that goes on top of your pellet grill, the hot pot channel. Like on yours, you have I think your hot pot comes from the back, right? Your burn pot.
That's a good question. No, it comes from the side, but it's in the middle. It's in the middle.
the channel that goes along, there's a guy that makes a saddle that goes over top of that channel and holds wooden chunks. Okay. So you can actually do
the saddle on the saddle on the deflector?
Tunnel. Yeah.
On the deflector?
No, on the tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah. So Justin's saying the same thing. He says people can't tell the difference. It's a mentality of, oh no, it's not real because it's not. If you're cooking right, you're cooking right. Right. You cook to certain temperatures. You cook at a certain temperature to a certain temperature.
Yeah.
With X amount of smoke, especially on the good smokers, you're going to get a lot of smoke out of them.
Yeah.
When I use my Yoder, every time I lift at the lid, I come back in the house, I smell the smoke.
Yeah.
Like that puts out more smoke than any other grill I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah, she can't hear me, but she doesn't love a lot of the smoke, so I have to kind of tone it down when we're doing.
Well, higher temperatures will get rid of some of the smoke.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I almost never. I'm to a spot where the smoker gets pulled pork and those kinds of things, and then when I'm doing steaks, I'm just doing that on a regular grill, just using gas for that, and that works great for me. My gas grill has cast iron grates on it. They're all seasoned. I have rocks underneath them. Those are seasoned. It's getting some of that flavor out of those things. In fact, the other night, my gas grill caught fire from the drippings that were landing on the rocks. It got hot enough, they caught fire. So I had to kind of pull everything off and wait 5 minutes for all that stuff to burn off. And of course,
I usually have a fire a year.
Yeah.
It's now you don't even panic. I have baking soda in the my barbecue closet right beside the door.
Yeah,
I get a fire up. I go grab it, toss it on.
I just let it burn out. Most of the time for me, I just let it burn out. We do bacon wrapped sirloins from time to time, so that adds a lot of grease to it. So I let it kind of build up, and then every once in a while it just catches fire, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait a second. It'll burn through. That's one of those things. Don't panic. Just leave the lid open. I can always tell when the temperature gauge goes to the all the way to the other side. I think mine goes to 800 or something like that. And when it goes all the way to the other side, you're like, okay, my grill's on fire. I better open that thing up. Justin says, he says, I use a high intensity cold smoker, Aussie Smoke Bloke, more commonly known as the Smoke Eye or UFO smoker these days. Pellets really work well on those as well. Good, nice, consistent product. And this is really what pellets have brought to the industry, right? Is a consistent burn.
Yeah.
Right. You can, with an auger and a little bit of smarts, doesn't take a lot, but a little bit of smarts from a temperature sensor somewhere, you can get some pretty consistent burn, right? On that.
I think Rectech just came out with a barbecue / smoker. So it looks like a gas grill, but it's run on pellets.
Yeah.
So you can smoke with it, or you can do high heat searing like a regular barbecue.
I like to have both. I like to have a gas grill. I like to have a pellet grill. And then I could do listen, to be honest with you, the XL is a little too big for grilling on the thing. It's really a better smoker because it's got so much space for me.
That's why I have two. I have the 480 I use as the 480 is on the top deck, and we use that weekly. And then my Komodo Joe is on top deck, and then my overnight smoker is down below.
Mm-hmm.
So I typically the Rectech usually only gets used if we're doing if we have a party, we'll do appetizers on it because all that room makes really nice when you're having a party.
Yeah.
Or we do it for the long overnight smokes where I want the control, I want the alarming, I want the easy adjustability.
Yeah. For me, listen, my gas grill I bought in 94.
It doesn't owe you anything.
Right? I mean, it's such a good grill. It's a little Sunbeam. I've replaced the innards 1,000 times. I mean, every couple of years I do, the burner. The current grates are maybe 10 years old, but I bought big cast iron grates that we're getting close. Like there's a few spots that have been worn down, have been burned down to just a little thin piece coming across.
Yeah.
It. I flip-flop them from time and turn them around to kind of get some even burning on the thing. But I love having both the option of gas and pellet now, and I think that's a pretty reasonable. I love your pellet burning pizza oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably something I got to think about here next. That would be a good one because we'd probably do that more. We just do it in the oven. We do pizza stones,
Yep.
which is great in the oven. That might work
We
outside if I
did
do.
we did pizzas in the spring. So I have a summer car that when it's parked in the garage, I can't get to my pizza oven because the pizza oven's on the back side on the shelf. So until the car goes out in the spring, I can't get to the oven. So we did it on my Komodo. I had the thing running for an hour and a half to get up to temperature where I wanted it.
Yeah.
And it still took it 6 minutes to cook a pizza, 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Once I get the uni out, 90 seconds.
Yeah. Well, the whole indirect heat idea, right? That fire is coming up and going around and dropping right down on the pizza.
Well, and I put in interlock stones and I raised my pizza stone. I have a Mille Henri pizza stone. So I raised that into the dome. I put a layer of interlock stones. I put stuff underneath that. So it's got a lot of thermal mass because what I want to do is when you open the lid up, you don't lose all the thermal mass.
Right. Yeah. And you want to get that crust crisp.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's so good. I love crispy. We've been doing a lot of Detroit style pizza, which, square pan.
Yep.
Put a lot of oil in it. It's kind of crispy on the edge.
Almost like a focaccia.
Yeah. No, Randy, sorry. Last week's show, I said a disparaging word towards Detroit. So Randy, I'm sorry about that. But I will say Detroit style pizza, the best by far. Super good. So that's a good way to do it. Yeah, you got me thinking now, and maybe I need to watch Facebook for
that's the best place. But that's where I got my Yoder.
I know.
That's where I got my.
You even found a grill for me.
Yeah, Weber.
I didn't buy it, but
I sold mine.
Did you?
Yeah.
I just don't know if I want to go charcoal at this point. For me, and as often as we grill, whatever that is, the gas is great. Like the other night, I came in. It was Sunday. We were making something. Sarah wanted some chicken. I'm like, "You want me to grill that?" She's like, "Yeah." The gas grill, put it on, fire it up, get it going. 15 minutes, ready to go. I can grill right on top of that. So that makes that impromptu grilling super easy. If I want to do a 10-hour smoke, or I want to make beef jerky, or I want to do some of those kinds of things, the pellet grill, but for sure, take plan it out a little bit, put that stuff in there. I'll be honest with you. I have not had the guts to do an overnight thing yet. And that's my next Mark. Maybe that's my next maturity level in the grilling or in the smoking space.
Or maybe not even overnight. Maybe just get up early and don't touch it for 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, I've done some shoulders for 6, 7, 8, but you've talked, like, hey, I'm doing this for 14 hours and you've put stuff on overnight and I still have not. I don't know. I need to, I don't trust it.
Get your alarms.
I need to
get your alarm set up.
Yeah. Put it on at 10.
Yeah.
I get up at 6 and I think I have a 20 or 25 pound hopper, and in most cases that's going to get me through the night. So
you should typically, my Rectech burns a pound an hour on smoke.
Yeah.
So I've gone through on a weekend, 40 pounds where we did ribs one day. And then we did I think we did ribs and a pork shoulder in the same weekend. So do ribs one day. So fire the thing up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, do ribs for 7 hours. I think I turned it down to smoke, didn't even turn it off, just turned it down to smoke and then put the pork shoulder on at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. It's the way to do it. And that's probably, the other night I did the pork shoulder first, ran that all day, shut it down. And then the next morning, fired it back up at 6, put the beef jerky on at 7. And then by 2 or 3, that was starting to get to its spot.
Yeah, I think last time I did a lot, which was when I had it with the brisket. I think I ran 2 consecutive 4-hour cooks, and I filled my 680 square inches with 3 racks. Yeah. So I have, I got 6 racks total. So I think I did 2 batches of 6 racks total in my 680 square inch rack pellet grill. I think it was 6 pounds cooked when I was done. And that was from 2 20-pound briskets.
I need to go eat some meat right now. Mark, as you look ahead, anything you got your eyes on future wise on grill stuff, or that like you would if the price was right, you'd pick it up?
I'm debating on whether or not I trade my Komodo Jumbo Joe, which is a massive one, for a regular size one, because it takes a lot of charcoal to get that 300-pound egg up to temperature.
Yeah. Really?
Oh yeah.
Aren't those insulated? I mean, shouldn't that come up pretty fast? Oh, okay.
They're an inch. No. They're an inch of ceramic.
Oh, okay.
The steel ones are. So my acorn was significantly better on charcoal, significantly more efficient than the Komodo eggs are. But there's also only 2 of us, so pretty much all I use it for is searing steaks and occasional cooking pizzas.
Right.
So I don't need to have the biggest jumbo one, especially now I got 2 pellet grills. Yeah. So the Yoder is my day-to-day one for anything from burgers, chicken wings, pork chops, whatever. And then if I do an overnight cooks, I do it on the Rectech.
Yeah. Well, here in the U.S., if you're not wanting to spend that kind of money, well, you can spend less money if you buy them used like Mark does. But you can also, Pit Boss has been another good brand that I've
There's
used.
nothing wrong with Pit Boss.
No, that has played out nice. Cover was nice on it. Ken asks, Weber grill still solid? I may consider a gas grill. Would you thinking like when I think of Weber, I think of charcoal, and man, it's so convenient on the gas side of things just to fire it up in 15 minutes. And the consistency that a gas grill brings for me, I can kind of predict where the levels are going to be. You know, once I get to know it, I know my gas grill. I've never felt that comfortable with a charcoal grill, right? Being able to get it there. I could be wrong, and maybe it's just a practice thing.
It's a practice thing. I had a Weber for. I'll answer Ken's question in a second, but
yeah,
I had a Weber. I bought a Napoleon charcoal grill. They just come out with them. It was absolute garbage. I don't know if they fixed them or not, but I actually returned it back to Home Depot because the temperature with the Acorn, I could set the temperature. If I wanted to be 250, I knew exactly where to put the dials. If I wanted to be 300, I knew exactly where to put the dials. The problem with the Acorn is it takes, there's a big buffer in between what you adjust the things and how the temperature reacts. If it goes too high, you're fighting with it forever to try and get the thing down. With the Weber, when I got it, I did the same stuff I did with the Acorn, and it was, you want 250, there's 250. You want 300, there's 300. Or you want 250 again, there's back to 250. Like it was great. The Napoleon had way too many air gaps. So you start a little fire in it and you close it right the way down, and the thing would go up to 600 degrees. So it might have been the one I had. It might have been that they're all like that. But I got my Weber and never looked back, and it was always a great one.
Okay.
Weber does have some nice stuff, but I think it's like anything. Weber and Napoleon are the 2 big ones up here. They both have discount brands and they both have premium brands, and you pay for you can tell what you're looking at from the price point.
That's really what it boils down to at the end of the day, right? Getting that right price point. And you're either going to pay that retail, you're going to pay midway probably for a lot of folks, or you're going to shop the Facebook or whatever that is for you, looking for those deals. Of course, you never know what you get when you do that kind of, right? That thing could be abused. Although, have you ever bought a grill that's been abused, or are they usually pretty well taken care of?
No. I'm selling one that's it's had some abuse, but it's just through use. Like it's my Broil King pellet is could do some TLC right now just because I burned like 1,500 pounds of pellets through it.
Yeah.
The stuff the metal starts to fatigue after it has that many heat cycles.
Sure. I need to go out and take my mine apart and vacuum out all the, it gets pretty ashy in there after a while, and you gotta, with the smoker, you gotta kind of clear them out from time to time.
A couple of times a year, I try and do that.
Yeah. On the gas grill, I always use, I replace the burner, and then I get rocks, and I like, there's some cool flat rocks. They're manufactured. They got little holes in them. I've done that. I've done kind of lava rocks. I don't like those as much, but the flat rocks seem to work well. They last about 2 or 3 burners, and then I've got to replace those. So, I can pick them up at Ace Hardware here.
They're consumables.
Yeah. and they get flavored. Those little rocks, they get super flavored. I mean, it's just stuff drips on them. It actually, I think, helps protect the burner a little bit. Of course, burners don't last forever. So the burners I replace the most often. The rocks are probably every 2, 3, 4 burners. And I'll be honest with you, with my Sunbeam, I just wait for burners to go on sale at Ace. They'll be,
as long as you can still get them, right?
yeah, for whatever reason, they'll be clearancing those things out in the maybe summer or spring or whatever model, whatever. I've used both the single burner and the H burner style. It's okay. Works either way. Set the rocks. So burners are probably every couple years. And then the cast iron grate has been the best thing. That has probably lasted me 12 years, maybe 13. It's been buying the grate that fit that grill. Cast iron, I spent, Mark, it wasn't terrible. I mean, this was 12 years ago. It was probably $30.
That's good.
That I spent on that thing, and it's given me so much life. Those ones that you get with a cheap grill. Listen, my cheap grill that I bought in 94, it was $125 when I bought it in 94. Let's just be really clear. Like, I've outfitted it with some pretty good gear, but the grill itself, the top grate, was the most important thing. And getting a really beefy one, cast iron that fit that, man, that's been the best thing I've ever bought.
I've had the Broil King comes with cast iron grills, which is kind of strange on a smoker, but they sell it as a searing station as well.
Yeah,
that Pits and Spits he's talking about is a nice grill. Like that's you can't find those up here.
Yeah, Pits and Spits Maverick 1250 or a Yoder, depending on what I can get locally.
Yeah,
that's Justin.
Yeah. And Justin, the Yoder up here was $4,300.
Okay, yeah.
Like the Yoder at the Canadian store up here,
2250 here in the U.S. is what I just saw.
No, we pay Canadian tax.
Yeah, for sure. It's U.S. brand, right? Yoder is a U.S. brand. Yeah,
I think they're made in Wichita, Kansas. Okay. Yeah, $22.50 US. They're $3,800 Canadian.
Whew. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I buy the upgrade kit, I'm actually going to go down to the States to buy it.
Yeah, it would be worth driving and then smuggling it over the border. I'm not saying you should do that.
I'll pay the tax on it because it's made in the U.S., right? So there's no duty on it.
That's true.
It's 13% tax, and you're done.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's going to save me about $300.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's there's one
Let
importer
me know when you're coming through town, and we'll grill. Yeah.
There's one importer for Yoder in Canada, and he adds about $1,000 onto every grill. So all the stores are selling for the same price, and you can't buy one outside of a store. So it's when I saw that one for $1,000, I jumped on it. And it's I'm trying to equate it to something else. There's maybe like an old guitar. Like there's not a whole lot to go wrong with them.
Yeah,
they work or they don't work. If they don't work, there's not a whole lot to them. They're an RTD, a fan, and an auger, and that's it.
Yeah. Well built. I mean, this is a tank as you're looking at this. I mean, well built, and I'm sure. Do they have their own covers?
Yes,
for them.
Yeah. They look funky because the cover those racks at the front, the chrome racks at the front and the side. The cover covers them, so it's got all these little things jutting out everywhere. So
I do not like the front cover on this Yoder that you're showing me. I don't like that rack. I prefer to come right up to the grill. I don't need a front. The Sunbeam, I almost took off that front. It's got like a front rack on it. It's got 2 side racks. I prefer the side racks.
I would have liked it if it folded down at the front, but those are all solid mounted.
Yeah, I'd almost take it off. Are they welded on there? Could you take them off?
They slide in and out.
Okay. Yeah, I'd almost take it off.
So for the winter, I actually removed them.
Yeah.
And then for the summer, I'm using them again because I'll go out there with a tray of ribs and I want to put them down somewhere so I can lift the ribs onto the.
Yeah. I use the hopper top as I shouldn't, but I use the hopper top as
that's my tongue sit
as another tray. Yeah. Well, sometimes I'll put a piece of tin foil down or whatever to make sure.
Now the RecTech, I have a fold out shelf, which is nice. So it's when I want to use it, it's there. And then when I'm not using it, I just fold the thing down.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Mark, always great to have you on. Thanks for making us hungry. Appreciate your desire. It never gets old, right? I mean, every year we've been doing this since 2016, and
Always something new.
I think I did this for a couple years with Howard before I think he was on maybe twice before you came on to join us. We went back to 2016 at the beginning of the show, and I think Mike joined me as early as 2014. I'd have to go back and look on that to see how long we've been talking about this. It's funny. The industry has come. You think about it, let's just say it's 10 years. It's come a long way, and yet a lot of the things are the same.
The pellet grills didn't, like, I got into them early in the, not gonna say I'm an early adopter, but I was fairly early into the cycle. Like the hardware stores up here had them, but nobody really knew about them.
Yeah.
And you paid for them. They were expensive. Now you can buy them at Costco, and like Costco will have a road show and stuff.
Sure.
Justin's asking about the Fireboard. The Fireboard is what Yoder's using for their controller, from what I've heard. It was, if not is, the best controller out there. I've had a couple of different PID controllers. I had one on my Acorn, and it was great. And it was actually designed for a lab. Like, it was a PID controller to use in a laboratory. And then somebody realized that you can actually hook a little fan up to it and hook it up to a barbecue. And my wife got me that for my birthday one time, and I sold that. I think I sold it. I might still have it around somewhere. And I got another one with my Funky Mountain, and but I think any of those work well. Like, there's not a lot to them. My PID controller has been around in the industry for years. All modern pellet grills, most modern pellet grills have one built into it.
Yeah.
So Fireboard just makes a really nice product. I had a couple of friends that have them, and they love them. And the Yoder, like I said, the basis for the Yoder controller, from what I've heard, is a Fireboard.
It's good. It's good. Listen, I've been happy with my Pit Boss. That seems to be like a mid level that you can get into. I spent $400 maybe on it. Maybe a little more expensive now. But
a buddy of mine bought one at around the first year of COVID. A buddy of mine bought one.
Yeah. That's when I got mine too. Right? It's 22, maybe 21.
And I think his hot rod failed on him. So again, if you have your GFI pop, it's more than likely your hot rod because the grounding shot. And now his RTD, his temperature sensor, has failed. He said it goes up to 70 degrees and then turns off. And like, well, that sounds like it's probably the fact that it's doing its startup cycle, so it's going to ignore the temperature probe. And then when it wants to rely on the temperature probe, it's getting an open circuit or something. So I said, you can buy the probes on Amazon for $20. Yeah. It's just another part that failed because it's going through heat cycles.
Right.
So it's not like it's a problem where it's an obsolete part you can't get stuff for. They typically use the same. Like when my hot rod failed on my Rectech, we're like, well, you got to buy the Rectech hot rod. I'm like, I went to Amazon, I bought it, just try it out, and fit right in.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Mark. Appreciate it. Can you hang around as I kind of wrap this up? All right. Well, we won't do much of a post show, but a couple reminders. One, I need to go eat some beef jerky or something. I might head down to the store and pick some up. I don't have any in the freezer to just warm up in the microwave, so I'll have to go out and get that done. So Mark, thanks for joining us today. Couple reminders on the way out here. Next week we'll be live, but I'll be playing in an interview. Doug Milburn is going to join me. We're going to talk about hard drives. Like, I know it's been a while since we've spent any time talking about hard drives, but Doug Milburn is one of the co-founders of 45 Drives. Mark, have you heard of them? 45 Drives here in the US?
I've used his I just put 24 terabytes into my Unraid server a couple months ago. I look at his stuff for the details of which drives to stay away from.
Yeah.
Backblaze is 45 drives.
45 drives.
Yeah. So I'm thinking the is it Backblaze that has a report?
Backblaze has that.
No, 45 drives make some beautiful stuff.
They do make some great
and they're Canadian too.
Yeah.
They're out of Nova Scotia.
Up Newfoundland, right? Out in that.
Yeah.
Aren't they out on the west coast or out on the east coast?
I think it's Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia? Yeah, I think you're right. And I interviewed Doug a week ago or so on a Monday morning because that's when he was available. And so we'll be playing the interview with Doug in here next week. And come out and join me. I'll be in chat. It'll be live. I think I can make all that work. And we'll be chatting along with it, but it'll be the interview that I did with Doug during that time. And it'll be kind of fun. Uyghur is, in theory, he's been talking about buying a chassis from them and building that out. They have a Home Labs kind of section on their site. They're talking a lot about counterfeit drives.
15 drives.
Yeah. They've been talking. He's been worried about the kind of the counterfeit, these enterprise drives are pretty expensive. And then, of course, some folks have been taking the enterprise drives that have 20 or 30,000 hours on them, slapping a new label and selling, deleting the smart data and selling them as new. So he talked to Doug about that. If you're an old home server guy, you got to listen to this interview. Next week on Thursday, it'll be available through the channels. I'll publish it as a podcast. But that's next week. TJ Huddleston is joining me, hometech.fm. That's HA or Home Assistant Day in Columbus. We're going to talk a little bit about that when he's coming in. Of course, I've had TJ on before, and so you want to come out. We'll talk a lot about Home Assistant, some of the things that he's done there. Schoonover is joining me on the 5th of June, and we'll catch up with him and some of the stuff he's doing. And then Uyghur, we had a misscheduling a couple weeks ago. Uyghur will be back on the 12th, and then Dave Hamilton from Mac Geek Gab will be joining us here on the 26th. So come out. If you're listening to the podcast, we'd love to have you join us live. Appreciate that, folks. Tony, Justin, Ken was out here a little bit earlier. Brian checking in, listening to us live tonight. Come out and join us on a Thursday night. Super fun. We are going live Thursdays now, 7 p.m. Central. So maybe in the past it was a little too late for you. It's no longer late for you. 7 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. Mark sends me a note. 24 terabytes in your Unraid box, Mark?
That's what I added.
You added to what? What did you have before?
20, 22.
So you have 44?
40. I think I'm at 40. I'll double check right now.
Nice. 3 8-terabyte drives. Listen, 8 and 10 terabyte drives, sweet spot right now in price. Although I would hold off. The prices with the tariffs here in the United States, prices increased by 30 or 40 or 50%, depending where you're buying them. But hopefully you got those before things. Well, you're in Canada, so you're fine.
Well, I bought them from the States. I bought them from Server Part Deals.
Okay.
I'm at 48 terabytes now.
Nice.
So I swapped out 3 terabyte drives that were full.
Okay.
For 3 more 8 terabyte drives.
8 terabyte drives. Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. No, nice work. I've got a bunch of 3 and 4 terabyte drives. I'm doing the Chia mining with. I've got some 8 terabyte drives. I just bought some 10 terabyte drives. I'm thinking of, there's a hard drive manufacturer. Let's see if I can, they just showed up on Amazon. They're called Walter Panther. That's the weirdest name for a hard drive. Walter Panther on Amazon. They are significantly the cheapest drive on there. I don't know if they're any good. 16 terabyte drives right now for $169, which, getting that $10 a terabyte type thing, it's been hard to do. So I've been looking at them. With here in the US, Mark, with the tariffs, hard drive prices went up pretty quick. So the 30 or 40% tariffs that were kind of promised are being kind of built into the price here. I don't know if I'd buy hard drives right now here in the US. I think I'd hold off a little bit. I think maybe we might see those prices come back.
I was lucky. I bought mine 6 months ago.
Yeah, no, right on. Listen, I bought a handful, maybe 3 or 4 10 terabyte drives. Got them for $100. Like, this is a good deal. I thought, okay, this is the time to do it. And then and then January happened. so not so good anymore. Hard drives are a little bit expensive, but we got some great shows coming up for you. Join us live. Appreciate that. Of course, the theaverageguy.tv platform, both web and media hosting, powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. I need to schedule Christian to get back on here. He had a baby. Well, his wife had a baby, but he had a baby and he's been taken. We've been giving him some time off. I'll get him scheduled to come back. But if you need some hosting, he does just about anything. Check it out today, maplegrovepartners.com. Neil, thanks for sending me a note the other day. You can as well. I hadn't heard from Neil in a while, and he heard me shout out his name on the podcast, and he said, hey, I'm still here. I'm okay. Love to hear from you as well. Send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. I'd like to hear from you. What's working? What's not working? What do you hear? What do you want to hear about? You kind of, listen, if you've been around a while, you kind of know how this show works. So send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. Check in with me every once in a while. We are live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, I can't even say it, Mark. 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I've been saying that the other way for 1,000 years at theaverageguy.tv/live. If you're listening to the live show, thanks for coming out. We'll be around for a little bit of a post show. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. All right, Mark. Good stuff, man. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Sorry about that message. I thought that might have gone into the chat because I couldn't figure out how to type in the chat.
Oh, no. That's fine. That's our private chat between you and me. But I'm glad you brought it up. What'd you get? What kind of drives did you get?
They were Western Digitals, I think.
New or refurbished?
No, they're server part deals is they've been all over the socials lately. I bought them on.
Are they like Go Hard drives where they're used server, like used enterprise drives you can pick up for a pretty good deal?
It might have been Go Hard drive.
What'd you pay Canadian? 120 maybe?
$140, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I got them on eBay, I think is where I got them from.
Okay.
And HGST Ultrastars.
Yeah, for sure.
And I paid for 3 of them. I got 3 of them for $70 US a piece.
Oh, yeah. That you bought them at the right time. I had started buying some hard drives. Chia is they're doing some new stuff. And so I was like, maybe I could pick up a few drives cheap. And I bought some of those 10 terabyte drives they're $100. So very similar to that. And I was like, we were watching prices fall. And then January happened and not so much anymore.
No, so now they're like 120, almost double from what I paid.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, the reason I'm buying 8 terabytes is that my dual parity drives are 8 terabytes. And those dual parity drives are when we were doing burst.
Burst
releases.
Yeah, burst. Yeah.
So I had 64 terabytes from burst.
Yeah.
And I started shucking those drives and putting them in my Unraid.
Yeah.
So that's where I think I got 48. I still have a couple more that I can put into it. I have it in a 12. I just transferred over. My Unraid server died. The motherboard died about 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago. It just wouldn't boot back up. It was running a Xeon V3, I think. So I was forced to put it into a new case. I was forced to upgrade my case, my motherboard. So now I'm running it with Ryzen 7 1700. But if I wanted to go to anything bigger than 8, then I have to go buy 2 parity drives plus my new data drive.
Yeah.
So I have a professional license with Unraid, so I can do 24 drives.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And I'm running 12 right now, including the 2 parities and the cache.
Yeah.
And my case will actually hold another 4 drives. So I could actually run, I think, 14 data drives at 8 terabytes a piece.
Nice.
So
nice.
And then I'm also running, that's for my media. And then I have a Dell 5820 with 4 bays in it that I'm running for my home server. With a dual NVMe card in that. So that's my taxes, resumes, pictures.
Yeah.
My wife's now got a Canon R7, so she's taking raw shots at it's like 24 or 32 megapixel.
Yep. Filling that up.
So she's got space. 2 or 3 terabytes of storage on pictures. And then I'm running a VM on that through Hyper-V. So that's a quiet machine. I paid $400 for it up here. I've got more memory for it. It's running I think a 4-core 8-thread, which is all I need for that machine.
Yeah.
And it just sits in the corner and it's nice and quiet. And
how much total memory do you have in there?
Right now, I think I have another 4 sticks. I have another 24 gig to put into it, I think. Sorry, no. Another 16 gig to put into it, and I think it's running 12 right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull 4 of those out and put the other ones in.
Yeah.
I think I'm running 8 gig per VM. So it's nothing.
Yeah.
Does everything I need.
Yeah. That's reasonable. Windows has been a little piggy lately, so if you're running Windows VMs, they can.
Well, that's what I'm running. I'm running a Windows VM, but the only thing I'm running on it is MB.
Yeah.
So it's one program. It doesn't run anything else.
Listen, I have 16 gig on my laptop at work, and it regularly runs at 12. You're like, holy buckets! Like,
I'm running a Lenovo ThinkPad P15, and it's thermal throttling on me right now, and I got 24 gig in it, and I'm running out of RAM.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's out of control.
I'm also looking at PDFs. Like I was telling you, we had some big contracts this spring. I had 800 meg of drawings for one project, and 3,500. This is like architectural drawings, so like 24 by 36, 800 meg of drawings, and one PDF document was 3,400 pages.
Oof.
So you can't access that over the net. You have to transfer onto your SSD or NVMe and do searches from that. Otherwise, the computer just shuts down.
No, wouldn't work.
So,
Justin said, Jim, you need to start a competition with guests who has the most home storage. We haven't talked about that in a while. Mark, you'd be up there a little bit. I think I'm at 100. I think I'm at 120 now.
Uyghur's probably most.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out what he's got.
I'm 60.
I'll ask him. Okay, 60 for you. We'll ask Uyghur. Justin said best value I found. Had to purchase drives last year. Upgrading from 8 was to 22. Right now, those drives I found at 16 were the best deal I've found so far. That's it's a new world since January here in the U.S. buying drives. So this is one of those areas where living in Canada or living in Australia or living in the United States might make a difference.
No, we got all our stuff from you guys.
Do you? Okay.
Right now we are. Now, I don't know if you've seen it lately or not, but there's a lot of there's been a lot of videos lately on social media about how quiet the borders are. You can actually go on the U.S. customs site and find out what the wait times are at the borders, and it shows sort of a graph of typical, and then right now it's 0. Like there's very, very little truck going back and forth.
Interesting times.
But our supply chain is China to you guys to us.
Okay.
So until they get it China to us directly,
well, maybe. Well, although those tariffs are coming down a little bit, we'll have to figure out what that means. Who knows?
Well, and it's still going to take a long time for it to refill the supply chain.
No, for sure. Tony says bought a 20 terabyte Seagate external recently. Made so much noise, I sent it back immediately. Yeah, I've been buying like you. I've been buying those used drives that come from Go Hard Drive or whatever, right? There's a bunch of those different ones. They're refurbished. They test them. They've got the ones I've been buying have 5-year warranties on them.
Yeah.
They've been coming with about 30,000 hours, 20 to 30,000 hours, which is okay with me.
They know how to check them too.
Yeah.
They know how to make sure that they're not counterfeit. And
yeah, they're not wiping out the smart drive, the smart data on them. They're shipping them full transparency. They're saying, hey, look, these have been used for the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
You're going to get 20 to 40,000 hours on them.
And for my use is not, first off, it's an unraid. It's not critical data.
Right.
My Dell server is running 4 terabyte drives with drive pool on it.
Yeah.
So anything that's critical is on drive pool anyway.
You're still using drive pool? I still use that too. Yeah, it's pretty great.
I got it on 2 systems right now.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I have it backed up to a NAS locally.
Yeah.
And then I have the server backed up to CrashPlan. So I got a 321.
Really? Still using CrashPlan? Huh?
It's not cheap, but it works, and it's something I know. And it was easier than trying to transfer 3 terabytes to somebody else.
Right.
So I think I'm paying $12 a month for it. So it's not the end of the world, and it gives me some peace of mind that that's
not bad.
My stuff's secure, and
that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what the drives are going for now on Go Hard Drive for an 8 terabyte.
I'm gonna say 109. That's gonna be my $110 is what I'm gonna say. Well, that's USD. You guys are 140. I'm gonna say
Well, we buy it in
you buy
USD
it
anyways.
USD?
Yeah.
Okay. So 110 is what I'm gonna say.
97.50.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe things have come down a little bit.
Grade A
For-
HGST.
For 8 or 10?
8s.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I think I saw 8 for 99 the other day.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
And then
that makes sense.
17.65 for delivery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they go up from there. That's their grade
Here
A
in the US, the
HGSTs.
shipping is free on Amazon. Like I can get an 8 terabyte drive for $99.
Well, if I try, there's a site. Well, PC Parts Picker is global, but
yeah.
I think last time I looked at an 8 terabyte, it was $250 somewhere around there
for new.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right. One of the crazy things, Mark, is I've been, in 2021, I bought an Icy Dock 3-bay, fits into a 2 slot in your computer, right? 3-bay, 2 slot, $45. Today, not even available. If it is, it's 90. And you're like, dang, like it's a plastic. It is literally a plastic with pass-through SATA and power. And it's like, oh, that hurts me.
I bought, when I built my Unraid, I actually built 2 towers. So I built one for my home server, one for my media server. And I got a bunch of, Rosewell had a set of 4-into-3 drive docks with fans on them. And I think I have 6 of those. And I have 2 towers with them both in it. I've lost one fan in 8 years.
Yeah.
And they're both still all working. So the system, my new Unraid system was my own home server. And I just took the thing apart, cleaned it up, reassembled it, and it's still going again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here's those. So this is the US price. Here's those. And this is what you just bought. Here's those HGSTs.
Yep.
Ultrastar, right? HE8s. They got the helium in them for $99 US. And then, of course, the shipping would be free. And I could order that and have it tomorrow.
Actually, I should actually take a look and see if I can get them on Amazon.
Yeah.
8
now, those are 128. I'd rather have the 256 versions of them. But those are a little bit more expensive. They're harder to find. I think the 10 terabytes are now, let's look at that. I think the 10 terabytes had come with 256, 8. Let's look at 8.
I'm looking at 145 plus shipping.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's where the US right now, again, those are the 8 terabytes are the sweet spot for pricing here in the US for sure. If you were gonna 10 terabytes aren't bad. It's not bad.
Well, with 48 terabytes right now, I got 24.1 free. So I'm at 50% right now.
All right on.
But I was at, before I did this upgrade, I think I was running at like 76%. So I was starting to run out of.
Yeah, no, right on. And you've upgraded the drives. You're going to have some drives start failing. Some of those older drives are going to start failing. Although I was looking at my drives the other day. I have a 3 terabyte drive that has 65,000 hours on it.
I was just looking at that.
Yeah. I use Crystal Disk for that. And I was like, holy buckets. That
Unraid has it built into it.
Yeah. That drive's been spinning for a while.
I'll actually tell you what the somewhere on Unraid there was
I think you go to the disk. I think you can click on the individual disk.
Yeah, I'm in there right now.
And then go to like
I think it was attributes or something, or
I think you're right. I think it's attributes is where the smart data is. And then you can go to there's hours, power on hours in the attributes. Like my parity drive on my Unraid is 2 terabytes, 37,604 hours on that one.
So what setting? What one did you under for that? So I'm under parity settings, and I got self test
Yeah.
attributes.
So go to main. So go to main, your main
Yeah.
hard drive, and then click on the drive itself, where it says parity or the drive, the disk number, and then click on the attributes the attributes tab, and go down a ways, and you'll see power on hours.
For some reason, it's not giving me attributes for that one.
Huh. So it says 37,604, which is 4 years, 3 months, 15 days, 20 hours. It's great. And then you can scroll through your drives there as well.
Yeah, I was looking at that a couple weeks ago, and for some reason now it's not letting me see it anymore.
Huh.
So there's been a setting change somewhere in my Unraid.
I have a 1 terabyte drive in my Unraid box. It's been running for 109,700 hours, which is 12 years, 6 months, 6 days, 20 hours. Mark, 12 years. It's still running. Yeah, it's a 1. What is this thing? Let's see. This is drive. We'll go to done here. This is the 3rd drive on there. It's an old Western Digital ears. Mike Fauché back in the day used to give me a hard time about those ears drives, how terrible they were and how slow. And they're terrible, slow drives. Mike Fauché, 109,000 hours.
Is that the green ones? Western Digital green ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a bunch of those. 2 terabytes.
Yeah, it's a 1 terabyte ears drive. Let me verify that. I don't want to talk smack and then not be able to back it up. Yeah, it's an ears. It's a 1 terabyte. I actually think I got that drive from Drobo. I think when I was testing some of their Drobo equipment, I think Mario sent me that, 12 years ago now, obviously. It was brand new at the time. 109,000 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think the longest drive I have, because all my drives now are, the smallest drive I have in here is a 3. I have 1 3 left. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 2 3s left. But when I started this box, I had 1s and 2s because I had it from my Windows Home Server V1 Acer box.
Yeah.
And then I built a V2 box, and then I went to an Unraid, and I think I'm on my 3rd rev of Unraid. 3rd set of hardware with Unraid. That I gotta say, that is the nicest part about Unraid is I transferred my drives over to a new box, new motherboard.
Yeah.
Plugged it in.
Yeah.
It found them all. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Recognized them. Yeah. Yep. I have 2 ears drives that are one's 109 and the other's 110,000. 110, Mark, 110,000 hours.
I have a stock over there of
that's ridiculous.
12 drives, 12 3.5-inch drives that are all sort of 1 terabyte, but I can't get rid of them because, like, what do you do with them? It feels bad to toss them, but what do you do with a 1 terabyte drive now?
No, right on. Yeah, no, they cost more in power to spin up than they're even worth, right? From that standpoint. So yeah, it's funny. I hadn't thought about that. 12 years those things have been running for me.
So 2013
fashion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet I could go back on the site and see where I did the review on those for Drobo.
When I built,
hilarious.
I built I bought my Windows Home Server V1 in 2008. And I started populating it with drives in 2008. And I had some of those still. I guarantee I still have some behind me on the shelf.
Yeah.
That were 1 terabyte drives.
Uh-huh.
I think I bought that. I bought that used, and I think it had 250 gig drives in it. So I think I had 4 drives to equal a terabyte.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I have some 160s and some 320s from old laptops that people and I used for a while. I used them. They're just sitting in the shelf. I just need to put a hammer through them and
I did that. Well, this right here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's hard drive magnets.
Yeah.
So that was a stack that I went through.
Yeah.
Anything with any 2.5-inch, I took a screwdriver through it because they're 2.5 run glass platters.
Yeah.
So if you stick a screwdriver and a hammer through it, you can actually hear them shatter. And anything that was 3.5, I actually took all the platters out and I put them through a metal shear.
Yeah.
And then just recycled them.
Yeah.
So if anybody can figure out how to pull the date off those, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
No. But I dismantled 20 drives just because I don't know what's on them. I don't want to, and I have friends that say, can you do an upgrade for me and get rid of the data? And I'd rather do that than try and do some sort of D-ban and let the thing run for a week. And
no, for sure. Hey, live friends, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys coming out. We're going to let you go. Have a great evening. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week. And come join me for the 45 drives.